With the takeover at Newcastle, there's a lot of talk about how good they can become in the long term. But how good could they be this season with just a few changes? Let's look into the changes that they can make now to improve the team. First of all then, this is where Newcastle United are in the league table right now, 3 points after 7 matches, and we can see this on the sponsor for this video, OneFootball. On OneFootball, we can tap onto Newcastle United to take a deeper look into their season so far. All on the same screen here, we can see their latest results and also the top stats, their average stats per match this season. The concerning stat where there needs to be a fix is that amount of goals conceded, 2.3 goals conceded per match. With an average of 1.1 goals scored per match, we can see it's resulted in 3 draws and 4 losses. You can then view the Newcastle United squad, and it is a poor squad of players, but it's still a squad of players that should be doing better than it is right now. One player that deserves to be in a better team is Saint-Maximin. We can tap onto his profile and view the stats for him this season. He's been able to score 2 goals and get 3 assists. And using the OneFootball app, we can view detailed stats for him this season, and that is what the app is really good for. So to access that all for yourself, you can download OneFootball on your phone by simply clicking the link in the description. The improvement at Newcastle United begins with the change of a manager, and everyone really knows this. Steve Bruce doesn't have a long-term future at the club. And whoever the new manager is, whether it be Frank Lampard or Eddie Howe to name a couple of names, the vision of the new board will be to appoint a manager with the intent of attacking and being more positive. In the summer, it was Crystal Palace who made a similar change. They went from Roy Hodgson and appointed a younger manager in Patrick Vieira. The appointment of him as manager showed ambition, a long-term plan, and wanting to play more positive football. So I see Newcastle United going in a similar direction where a more positive, ambitious manager could lead them to better results this season for the club. Whoever the next manager is, there will be a bounce from the players where results after the appointment of him will be better. And what we're fairly likely to see is when that manager comes in, a different formation will be put in place. A more positive and attacking manager could switch to a 4 at the back system instead of the 5 at the back that Steve Bruce plays. One example could be a 4-3-3 where you allow Joe Willock, who scored a load of goals last season. In this role, he could be a presence in the box. He'd almost be playing a similar role to Conor Gallagher at Crystal Palace, and this would be an effective change for Newcastle. As well as that, in a system with more of the ball, getting Saint-Maximin on the ball more regularly can only be a good thing for the team. The Newcastle squad as a whole is okay, but signings in January can elevate that improvement for this season. In the January transfer window, I'm sure they will be making moves and getting in some place to make a difference now, but who exactly could they be? Well, James Tarkowski is being linked, and he'd be the perfect signing of a player to make an instant impact and improve the defence now, not a player for the future, but instead improve the team straight away. And again, with the comparison to Crystal Palace, their transfer window was so good because they targeted players who had performed well the season before in the Premier League or in the Championship. And it'll obviously be harder in the January transfer window to do that kind of business, but opportunities will be there. Jesse Lingard, as much as it seems Ollie wants to keep him and he'll want to stay at Manchester United, the persuasion of first team minutes could be something that he'll take. So I think that is the key thing for Newcastle and the recruitment team, targeting opportunities in the market where there are players available, maybe they're not getting minutes at their current club. The players who they really want to target will be players that they have to leave for the summer. The January window is so difficult to get players who are settled at their current club. Players like Oxlade-Chamberlain and Origi are other names both at Liverpool that should be available in the market, so Newcastle do have options this January. Let's take a look at a proposed first 11 then that Newcastle could realistically have in 2022. With 4 new signings in this first 11, only one is in the defence with Tarkowski, but more needs to be done in this position. There's especially improvement that needs to be made in the fullback positions. Jamal Lewis has hardly played a game this season, but maybe a new manager would give him a chance and he could be better. But whether improving the fullbacks in January is the right decision to make is debatable. I think Lascelles and Tarkowski as your centre-backs is good enough to improve the defence for the rest of this season. Earlier in the video, I did mention a 4-3-3 as an option for Newcastle in the future. However, for this first 11, I've gone with a 4-2-3-1. So the central midfield partnership I have as Joe Willock on the right and Weston McKennie on the left. Now that's another new name to add to the mix of potential signings, but he's a player that seems to be available from Juventus. He's a more defensive-minded midfielder, and in the partnership, this would offer a good balance alongside Joe Willock. Attacking midfield, I have Jesse Lingard, who I mentioned earlier, as a potential signing, and let him be the midfielder to press high from central positions to get into the box when in possession. He'd be brilliant in this position and be effective. Alan Saint-Maximin remains on the left, of course. On the right wing, I'd have Oxlade-Chamberlain. He'd be a good signing if he could stay fit at least, and that is the worry with him. The striker is still Callum Wilson, who I'm sure would love to play in a more attacking side like this. And if Newcastle were to go for a 4-3-3, something like this could be a good option for them. What I've done here is remove the signing of Oxlade-Chamberlain and instead signed a fullback. I've got Max Aarons on the right, but I don't really think that's a signing they could do in January and more of a signing for next summer. But that midfield three with McKennie as the defensive midfielder, having Joe Willock as one of the central midfielders to push into the box and score goals. Jesse Lingard from attacking midfield instead switches out onto the right hand side, where he can still press high, win the ball high up the pitch and be an attacking outlet. Then this midfield three would have a really good balance of qualities, where Longstaff is a box-to-box player, Willock pushes into the penalty area, and Weston McKennie simply sits back to protect Lascelles and Tarkowski. And this is the kind of system that we're seeing with Patrick Vieira at Crystal Palace, so if they went down the same route, we could see something similar to this team. If you did enjoy this video, then please click the like button on the video. It's massively appreciated as it really helps the videos getting found. For more Premier League insight and analysis, subscribe to Route 1.